And oh, it's so
Mhm.
I don't even like bringing this up because I don't want this to be correct because it means that unfortunately young Mark was wrong and my teachers in my life were right. But I do have to talk about my junior year English teacher. Um,
Uh-oh.
she talked about how she thought that tools just like Grammarly, spell check, things that are just like within a word processor were bad to people at large because it was going to make them stupider. And I told her that that's not necessarily true. I'd say that, like, the smarter people are just going to be able to do more, and that it's going to decrease the barrier of entry for people who are talented in ways that might be limited by knowing full grammar on your own, all these things. And usually, her and my senior English teacher, they both thought that those trips to the thesaurus, those trips to the dictionary, that like having to get up and walk and go over there and have to go through all these things, that trip through all the words on the way there, that all of that was important, and that like when you take that moment to deep dive, that like that's where like the real, not like the real winners, but like that's what real nerds are. You know what I mean? The real nerds are willing to go and like savor that moment to be able to learn. And while I still 100% disagree with her just on the premise of the tool man dilemma, right? I do think inherently there will always be a man better than the tool because a man made the tool. But I do think that there will a conversely on the opposite end of the coin. That they're not wrong to that extent. There are people who are losing those reps, those opportunities to be that nerd with his nose in the book, and that opportunity to be like, huh. So this word means this, huh? I thought it was because of context and how people were using it. And now you're thinking about how differently, you know what I mean? There is a process there. And I hate admitting that they were a little bit right there because inherently I still will fight for the fact that technology is not going to make us dumber as a species. Idiocracy is a little bit contrived in a Mike Judge way specifically for that. But I think that there's just something that we do um, we miss a little bit now. We aren't making those trips. We're missing a little bit. I do think that the AI furthers that point a little bit. There are folks who would rather ask AI for the answers to the question instead of references to help them find the answers to the question, and that inherently is flawed. Not everything has an answer. Some things are research paper type and presentation. You need to go find evidence, build an argument, and convince people because there is no answer. That AI will not help you do if you are asking it for an answer. So